After nearly 2 decades on our screens, whispers are getting louder. Heartland might finally be coming to an end with season 19. Fans who've grown up with the Fleming-Bartlett family are asking the same question. Is this truly the final ride through the fields of Hudson? It's not just a rumor anymore. Clues are adding up fast, and the possibility of closure feels more real than ever. For years, Heartland has been more than just a show. It's been a comfort series, a quiet place filled with love, healing, and family. Running since 2007, it's not just the longest-running Canadian drama, it's one of the longest-running TV dramas in the world. But like every story, even the most beloved ones eventually reach their final chapter. And season 19 feels like that final page is coming closer with each episode. One of the first signs came from the tone of season 18's finale. While the story didn't end in a dramatic cliffhanger, it gave viewers something else, a feeling of peace. Amy finding strength again, Lou stepping up in her political role, Tim embracing his new marriage, and Jack reflecting more on the past than the future. All of it hinted at the idea of wrapping things up, not pushing forward. The writing started to feel reflective, almost like the creators were preparing fans for something bigger, possibly a goodbye, but beyond the storylines. The real clues are hidden behind the scenes. There's been growing silence from CBC regarding future seasons. Normally, by now, the network would have announced a renewal or dropped hints about what's next. Instead, there's been very little. This silence is unusual and often signals one thing in the TV world, a quiet farewell. And in Heartland's case, the idea of a respectful, graceful ending fits the show's personality perfectly. Let's not forget the natural life cycle of long-running shows. Even the strongest dramas eventually have to pause or end. Creative teams get older, actors take on new projects, and networks look for new stories to tell. Heartland has had an incredibly long run, longer than anyone could have expected. After 18 full seasons, the idea of concluding the show with season 19 isn't surprising, especially if the cast and writers want to end on their own terms. Some fans also noticed that season 19 is rumored to have fewer episodes than before. That's often a sign of a final season in television. When a show shortens its season but spends more time focusing on emotional, character-driven stories, it usually means the writers are preparing to bring everything full circle. It's not about dragging things out, it's about giving each character the ending they deserve. And if we go deeper, think about how much the show has already changed. Ty's death in season 14 was a turning point. Many fans believed the series might end after that, but the writers pushed forward, telling a new kind of story through Amy's grief and growth. But now, with that arc completed and Amy finding healing again, it feels like the show has come full circle. There's not much left unresolved. Often how finales are built, there hasn't been an official press release confirming that season 19 is the end, but multiple cast members have shared emotional, reflective posts on social media calling season 19 special and meaningful. Some even hinted that this year might be the end of an era. In the entertainment world, those kinds of words are rarely used lightly. They usually suggest closure is on the horizon. It's also important to look at the timing. With many actors growing older and younger characters starting to take more of the spotlight, the writers might be preparing to hand things off or to close the book entirely. The idea of leaving the story at a peaceful, hopeful point might be more appealing than dragging it out and risking quality. So, while nothing is 100% official, all signs are pointing in the same direction. Season 19 could very well be Heartland's final season. It's not about ending in sadness, but in celebration. A show that's lasted nearly 20 years deserves a proper farewell. And if this is truly the last ride, fans should prepare themselves for a season full of emotion, legacy, and heartfelt moments that honor everything Heartland has stood for. One of the biggest signs pointing to Heartland's possible ending isn't in the script, it's behind the scenes. While the show has always maintained a steady presence with its loyal cast and crew, recent changes in tone, cast behavior, and production updates hint at a major shift, possibly a farewell. And if you've been following the show closely, you'll No, the clues have been there all along. Let's begin with Amber Marshall, the heart and soul of Heartland as Amy Fleming. For years, Amber has shared her deep love for the show, her character, and the fans. But in several recent interviews and social media posts, there's been a noticeable change in her words. She's been more nostalgic than ever, often talking about what the show has meant to her instead of what's coming next. In a heartfelt Instagram post shared during the filming of season 19, she described this season as bittersweet and said she was cherishing every moment. While that may sound innocent, longtime fans know that kind of language usually comes when actors sense the end is near. Then there's Sean Johnston, who plays the wise and grounding Jack Bartlett. Sean has been with the show from the very beginning, a steady presence in every season. But even he has started sharing emotional tributes to his time on the series. A recent post from the set showed him leaning against Jack's iconic red truck with the caption, "No matter what happens. Next, I'll always carry Heartland in my heart." Again, no direct confirmation, but heavy hints that something is concluding. Let's not forget Michelle Morgan, Lou, and Chris Potter, Tim. Both actors have been involved in directing recent episodes, a move that sometimes suggests they're helping shape the final chapter of the story. Michelle recently directed an episode that fans described as one of the most heartfelt of the season. And she's spoken openly about how much she's grown, not just as an actor, but as a storyteller, behind the camera. These are signs of actors preparing to leave something meaningful behind. Not just continuing business as usual. Off camera, there are changes in production too. Filming for season 19 wrapped faster than expected, and instead of teasing next season or offering sneak peeks for future storylines, the cast and crew went quiet. For a show that usually builds hype during and after filming, the silence says a lot. It feels like they're preparing for something bigger, a respectful and quiet goodbye, perhaps to avoid fan panic before the final episodes air. There have also been fewer promotional events for Heartland this time around. No major press tours, no big teaser campaigns, and no major CBC announcements about season 20. This is very unlike past seasons where CBC celebrated renewals early, especially during anniversaries or milestone episodes. It seems like the network is holding back, possibly giving the creators room to end things on their own terms without forcing a dramatic farewell. Just yet. Another big clue lies in the younger cast. Dane McPherson, who plays Katie, and Ruby and Emanuela Spencer, the twins portraying Lyndy, have recently been featured more heavily in storylines. This sudden shift in focus might mean two things. Either the creators were laying the foundation for a spinoff, or they're wrapping up each character's arc with care before closing the series. The latter feels more likely, especially when you see how their stories are being tied to long-standing family values and lessons. Classic signs of closure. Even newer faces like Jessica and Rick have gotten significant emotional moments in recent episodes. When side characters are given full-circle arcs, it's often because writers are preparing to shut the book, properly ensuring no one is left behind. From career changes to personal decisions, each subplot feels like it's reaching a natural end. And then there's the production crew. Several longtime crew members have been posting throwback photos from earlier seasons, celebrating their time on set like it's their last ride. There's a wave of behind-the-scenes nostalgia across the board, from costume designers to camera operators. It's as if everyone is reflecting on a beautiful, long journey that may finally be reaching its conclusion. Of course, in the entertainment world, nothing is official until the network confirms it. But if you pay attention to the tone, the social media shifts, and the emotional language being used by both cast and crew, the writing is on the wall. Heartland season 19 isn't just another season, it's beginning to feel like a love letter to the fans. A way to honor everything that came before. And maybe, just maybe, a way to say goodbye with grace. Season 19 isn't just another chapter in Heartland's long-running legacy, it's shaping up to be a season of emotional closure, quiet goodbyes, and full-circle storytelling. Every storyline seems carefully crafted, not to stretch the plot, but to honor the characters and everything they've been through since season 1. There's a deeper emotional weight in each scene, like the writers are gently preparing fans for a meaningful ending, not with explosions or cliffhangers, but with healing, growth, and the feeling of home. Let's start with Amy Fleming, who has always been the emotional center of Heartland. After losing Ty, fans watched her slowly rebuild her life, not just for herself, but for her daughter, Lyndy. In season 19, Amy feels different. She's calmer, wiser, and more at peace. Her connection to the horses remains strong, but there's something new in how she approaches her work. She's no longer hiding behind it. Instead, she's allowing herself to feel again, to open up to the idea of a future she never thought she'd have. It doesn't mean she's rushing into love or chasing anything dramatic. Instead, Amy is embracing the idea that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning how to live with the love you've lost while still making room for joy. Her scenes with Lyndy this season are especially powerful. They're filled with soft moments, little lessons, and the kind of legacy Ty would have wanted Amy to pass on. Then there's Lou, whose journey has always been about balancing ambition with family. Her role as Hudson's mayor has been front and center in season 19, but this time, the political drama isn't the focus, it's Lou learning to let go of control. She's finally seeing that her worth isn't tied to how much she can juggle. Her evolving relationship with Peter and the way they co-parent Katie shows a level of emotional maturity that Lou didn't always have in the earlier seasons. She's also started reconnecting with her own dreams, ones that don't revolve around fixing everything. For Lou, season 19 feels like a season of peace, not success, and that shift is important. It signals that her character has reached a place of understanding, a place where she no longer needs to chase validation. Jack Bartlett, the family's anchor, also has a quiet arc this season. His scenes are filled with reflection-long glances. Across the ranch, deep talks by the fireplace, old stories told to the younger generation. Jack isn't just a mentor now. He's a symbol of legacy. Season 19 gives Jack space to think about his life, his regrets, and the love he's shared with Lisa. Their marriage, still strong and grounded, offers some of the season's most heartfelt moments. It's not flashy, but it's real. Jack passing on his wisdom to both the kids and the horses feels like a nod to the show's beginnings. It's like the writers are letting Jack's role come full circle from the one who once held the family together, to now gently guiding the next generation to stand on their own. Tim and Jessica's journey also feels like it's nearing its destination. After years of being the wild card, Tim has finally found stability. His marriage to Jessica has grounded him, and in season 19, we see him focus more on being present than being in control. There's a shift in how he talks to Amy and Lou, more patience, more listening. It's subtle but powerful. For a character who once struggled with commitment and responsibility, Tim ending the series as a steady, supportive husband and father figure feels right. Jessica, too, gets a chance to shine not just as Tim's wife, but as her own person. Her battle with cancer and her decision to return to Heartland were already brave. Now we see her building a life filled with purpose, art, and love, but perhaps the most touching story arc belongs to Lyndy, Amy, and Ty's daughter. Though still young, season 19 gives Lyndy more emotional weight than ever before. She's becoming more involved in the ranch, learning about horses, and even showing signs that she may carry on her parents' legacy. Every scene with Lyndy feels like a bridge between the past and the future. There's a sweetness in how she mimics Amy, and a quiet strength that echoes Ty. The show is clearly planting seeds here, not necessarily for a spinoff, but to show that the spirit of Heartland will live on, even after the final episode. Watching Lyndy grow up on the same land where Amy once found herself is one of the most poetic touches of season 19. Even the secondary characters are getting their moment. Katie and Parker are being written with more depth, exploring themes of identity, friendship, and finding their voice in a complicated world. They represent the younger voices of the series dealing with modern issues, but still grounded in the values of Heartland. Whether it's Katie trying to navigate life between two households, or Parker standing up for what she believes in, their arcs feel intentional, like the writers are gently wrapping up their coming-of-age stories. Every detail in season 19 From the music choices to the lingering shots of the ranch, feels like a quiet goodbye. Not in a tragic or rushed way, but in a way that respects the journey. This season doesn't aim to shock, it aims to honor. It honors the characters, the land, the family, and most of all, the fans who've been part of this ride for nearly 20 years. Asterisk, if Heartland truly ends with season 19, the question every fan is asking now is, what comes next? After nearly 2 decades of storytelling, it's hard to imagine Sunday nights without new episodes from Hudson. But even if this is the end of the main series, the world of Heartland might not be going away forever. In fact, there are already growing signs that something new could rise from its ending, whether it's a spin-off, special, or even a movie. And fans are making their voices heard louder than ever. Let's start with the most talked about possibility, a Heartland spin-off. Over the past 2 seasons, the show has quietly shifted focus toward its younger generation, especially Katie, Parker, and Lyndy. This wasn't accidental. The writers have been slowly testing how these characters could carry deeper storylines, and the response has been mostly positive. A potential spin-off centered on Lyndy as a teenager or young adult, following in Amy's footsteps as a horse whisperer, could be a natural extension of the series. Especially since Heartland has always been about generational legacy, this would be the perfect way to keep that legacy alive. Fans have even started pitching their own ideas online. One concept floating around is Heartland, the next chapter, where Lyndy, Katie, and Parker take over the ranch and deal with their own growing pains. Another idea focuses on Lou's political journey in Hudson, exploring small-town leadership with a mix of family drama and social change. Even a prequel series exploring Jack's early life and Marion's younger days has been suggested. And, considering the strong emotional foundation of the original show, it's easy to imagine viewers wanting to explore those roots. Then there's the idea of a Heartland movie or limited series special. This format has worked well for other long-running shows that ended but returned to give fans closure or a glimpse into what happened years later. A one-time event where we see Lyndy as an adult, Amy reflecting on her journey, and the Bartlett-Fleming family reunited on the ranch would be a beautiful way to re-enter that world. Netflix and CBC have already shown interest in continuing popular IPs in smaller formats, and with Heartland's global fan base, such a project could easily find an audience. Beyond the screen, Heartland's future might live on through tributes and fan celebrations. There are whispers of a possible documentary being created to honor the legacy of the show, featuring behind-the-scenes footage, interviews with cast and crew, and a look back at iconic moments from all 19 seasons. Some fans are even asking for a Heartland museum or permanent display in Alberta, where the series was filmed. The town of High River, which served as the backdrop for Hudson, already attracts visitors every year, and if the show truly ends, tourism will likely rise even more as fans travel to see where it all happened. Meanwhile, fan campaigns are already gaining momentum. Online petitions asking CBC to renew Heartland for at least one more season are racking up thousands of signatures. Others are demanding a formal spin-off announcement. Social media is buzzing with hashtags like #SaveHeartland, #HeartlandForever, and #LyndySpinoff. Many fans are also tagging streaming platforms like Netflix, asking them to pick up a follow-up series, much like they did for shows like Manifest and Lucifer. In today's media world, passionate fan bases have more power than ever before, and if the support continues, it's possible Heartland could return in some form, even after the main show ends. But whether or not the show continues, one thing is already clear: Heartland's legacy is secure. It has become a symbol of family, resilience, healing, and hope. It's not a flashy drama filled with constant twists. It's a story that's taken its time, focused on the quiet strength of love, and celebrated the beauty of ordinary life. That's what made it special. And even if we never get another new episode, the stories we've already received are more than enough to last a lifetime. Heartland has also created a rare kind of emotional bond with its viewers. For many fans, it's more than just entertainment. It's been a part of growing up, healing from grief, or finding peace during hard times. That kind of impact doesn't just disappear when the credits roll for the final time. It stays in the hearts of fans, in family rewatches, and in the way it continues to be discovered by new audiences around the world. So, what's next? Maybe a spinoff, maybe a movie, maybe nothing for a while. But the world of Heartland won't vanish. Will evolve. And in the meantime, fans are finding comfort in celebrating everything the show has given them. From Amy and Ty's love story to Jack's quiet wisdom, Lou's determination, Tim's redemption, and the laughter and tears shared across the ranch, every part of Heartland has built a story worth remembering. If season 19 truly is the end, then it's not just goodbye, it's thank you. Thank you to the cast, the crew, the creators, and especially the fans who made Heartland more than just a show. Because even when the screen fades to black, the spirit of Heartland will always live on in the fields, the horses, the family dinners, and the hearts of millions around the world.